And
And you directly addressed how you'd solve their issue.
correct. I said
While
something
interviewing.
as simple as having a sign up that says, please use kiosk. You know, it would take longer if you get somebody here, but please use kiosk to do orders. Because on the inside, that is kind of how McDonald's are now.
Yeah.
But they don't have a sign there, and people are. I know it's annoying for the staff, especially if they're short staffed at that. You're having to constantly have to come back, stop doing something that's slowing up your drive-through line. You're not able to get people's food because it's not enough people. But if you at least put it there to where they can see it and read it, maybe that changes people's minds. And I understand if you are having a special kind of order to where you have to get it taken, like you can't get mac sauce and mac sauce like on a burger. Like if you want a double cheeseburger and you want mac sauce on it, you can't do it on the kiosk. Like you can't do it on the app either. So you have to go. Yeah, no. It's not an option. That's what I'm saying. So like
you tried this.
Yeah. That's how I like to get. I'll get a double cheeseburger with mac sauce and shredded lettuce because I like Big Macs, but you know the double cheeseburger is cheaper. So, and it's the same thing. And it's the same thing with one less piece of bread. It's the same thing.
And I don't need that second piece of bread.
Exactly.
I think it always messes up me eating the burger. Like I can never have
it's sloppier.
Yeah, like my buns are always messed up when I'm eating
Your buns are always messed up, huh? Is it the bottom bun?
I thought we were adults, man.
We are adults. So if the buns are getting messed up, is it because of the meat in between them? Or is it the special sauce? What do you think is the causation of your messed up buns? What's messing them up?
User error.
Because we know that the cheese is kind of the glue of everything. So no, it's not the cheese. So it's got to be the meat, right? Or at least it's got to be the special sauce.
It's the sauce line against the meat.
That sounds like a Diddy take there.
2 bites, it gets slippery.
Yeah, well, because you're having to manage this thing. It's got a little bit of lettuce, the sauce, and you want to keep the integrity of the sandwich, right? Because you don't want it to be uneven to where you're eating a lot of something and then there's leftover just bread and lettuce or something. You know, you want it all in one bite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But hey, man, you know another problem you might run into, though?
What's that?
Old people, specifically Black women above the age of like 47, 50.
Why do you think that would be a problem?
They're not going to use that damn kiosk.
Well,
you know how
we're not going to make them use the kiosk.
I know.
I think it's just more of, hey, for faster service, please visit the kiosk. Wait times can fluctuate for a person here because we're busy.
Yeah,
it's not that we won't take your order, but if you want to be waiting, if you don't want to wait, use the kiosk.
But you know how that works for them. They're going to get to yelling, and you're going to say, hey, I'm sorry. I can take your order now. Well, y'all done had me waiting here all this time. Man, I'm sorry, but we have the sign set up to use the kiosk because we're short-staffed. Well, I don't use that shit.
It's like, okay, ma'am, no problem. That's why I'm getting ready to get you taken care of right now. What can I get for you?
And then as soon as you take order, just don't make no damn sense to be waiting this long for no food.
Is that only in the Black community?
You know what? I don't know. I just
that's the type of shit that'll be said though. It literally happens.
Oh, you were saying only in the Black community, not asking.
Yeah. I'm saying only in the Black community.
Yeah, bro. Like,
that's the comment. That's the chirping that'll come out.
That's
because it literally just happened when I was up there. It literally, I'm trying to tell you, it took them 25 minutes to interview to even get to the chance to interview me. And so, there was a guy, and I honestly, I understand where they were coming from. They had ordered like coffee, and that was it. because it was still morning time. And it was a guy and a woman. And again, she fits the description of what you just expressed. Like, somebody in their mid 40s.
Okay.
The black guy, he popped it off though. He's like, man, let me get a refund. He said, I'm gonna just go there's a Quick Trip across the street. Let me just go to Quick Trip. I didn't know what they had ordered because I didn't listen to all that. But they just wanted to pick. They both got coffees. One got an iced coffee, the other got a regular. And
were they a couple?
Nah, they weren't even there together. That's what I'm saying. They were just separate customers. There were like 6 fucking people in the lobby, which I don't, if I ever go to McDonald's, it's going to be in the drive-thru. I don't typically go inside. And so, unless the line is just ridiculous. And then at that point, I have to ask myself, how bad do I want McDonald's? I'll just go somewhere else. Like, but yeah, they're sitting there doing that, and they both asked for their money. The man that ended up interviewing me, which I feel like he's got to be the owner. And if he's not, he's kin to the owner. It's something along those lines. Because this dude was like in his like mid 60s. He looked like he was about my dad's age. He was a foreigner. He's like a Caribbean. I don't want to say he was Jamaican, but like he was Caribbean.
Okay.
He's Mr. Gene. And he just seemed super duper busy. And he was the one kind of like he comped somebody's stuff because they were waiting so long. And again, I could tell that they were super duper short staffed, but it makes sense because whoever maybe was the general manager there before possibly quit. I don't know. But to me, I look at it as potentially as a new challenge. And again, the ultimate goal would be to eventually be a franchisee. And so
now, you can't wear Travis Scott's and Yeezys.
Yeah, they have to be a certain type of shoes. Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Gotta have on the no slips.
I'm fine with that. That wouldn't change me and the direction like that I would want to have it go in. And again, I look at it this way. A lot of people have McDonald's as their whipping boy like job. That's a whipping boy job. Now, obviously, I'm managing. It would be me managing, but like at the same time, it's a perfect way to set up becoming a franchisee for literally probably one of the 5 biggest companies in the world.
Well, here's something. Here's something. Just take this advice from me.
Okay.
Your work clothes, separate hamper, wash them by themselves.
You saying that grease smell, it sticks in them, huh?
Yeah.
So, see, that sounds a lot like the warehouse. At tire warehouses, that rubber smell. It very much so stays on you.
Yeah, but you're not getting in the thick of it in the warehouse.
That's true. Whenever I have worked in the warehouse.
No. Before, I know you have, but I'm saying when you were going to the tire warehouse.
No.
You're not.
I walked
you're not
around
doing
and
that
then I was in the office.
Yeah, you're not doing that 60 hours a week.
Yeah.
Now, when you get to the Golden Arches, not Golden Arches, not McDowell's, okay?
Yeah.
We sesame these buns.
But you know what? That is the type of pride I would take in it. Seriously. Like, that's the type of pride. And I think that he got the sense that I wanted the job. Like, I wasn't just applying and, like, weighing options. I'm like, no. This is the job I want. Yeah. And I made that be known, though, because I was serious about it. Because I think my dad, he's the one with I don't have the asset. He's the one with the assets. But even once we've got this liquid, it's something to me, it encompasses everything that I like to do, or like what I believe to be my greatest asset, and that is customer service. I feel like that's something that I can thrive at. And that business is, yes, it's a food business, but it's really, that's why Chick-fil-A is so popular. The food is always going to be consistent and good. Everybody knows that about Chick-fil-A. What makes them stand apart? It's always been the customer service. It's always been that. The food, as long as you know your food's going to be consistent, you're not selling the food, you're selling the experience and the person. And people, like you are buying the food, but I'm just saying your experience is what dictates how much you really want to get it. Like
it's a balance beam, right? You go to a shithole taco spot, wing spot, Caribbean spot, right?
Mm-hmm.
It may be dirty in there. May not be clean. I know I just said that twice.
Yeah.
You may get cursed out. You may be uncomfortable because it's in a sketchy part of town. But the food is so damn good that you deal with it.
Right.
Where McDonald's, well, back to your Chick-fil-A thing, right? The food is good, but it's pricier. But the customer service is so good. It's like, I'll pay an extra $3 today for lunch.
I like the idea of going somewhere and not having any type of inconvenience, whether that be wait time, whether that be the person's attitude towards me to where I got to curse, and you know how people are, they'll curse people out, where my order is going to be wrong and I have to go back in and then confront them. And what are they going to do about it? They going to treat it like shit and say, basically, fuck me back. Like, I want to change that stigma, certainly at least for that location. And then who knows? Maybe it grows into something else. You become regional manager. I don't know.
Hey. I'm not your interviewer, man. You don't have to sell me on it. I know you. But hey, Parlay Pete Dog, how you doing?
We are doing fantastic. How are we doing today, AC Lee?
Not too bad. Missed you at brunch on Saturday.
But I knew by the time I got back, I wasn't going to make it. I got back here at 5. So I had to end up, I wanted Steak and Shake is what I wanted. They were closed. Whataburger was open, but the drive-through was blocked off. So I had to go in. There were probably about 6 or 7 people ahead of me. You order on the kiosk in there too.
Okay.
Did that, got my order, and the wait was probably like 25 or 30 minutes. And she lives deep into she's not far from Truist Park, but even from Truist, because of the amount of stop signs and then having to go into her neighborhood, it's like a good 10 minutes, 10, 12 minutes before, going through from Truist to there, even though it's only like 1.8 miles. Like, it's not far, but because there's so many lights, so many turns. Yeah.
That's the Vinings experience.
Yeah. So you eat up that, and then you eat up that getting out of it. Then you drive to go get the food. I went one place closed. Then you have to go to the other. Ironically, Waffle House was open there, and they definitely had people sitting in there. Now, obviously, we weren't going to Uber from the Highlands to there to eat Waffle House. Like, it's just not that serious. But so then you got to drive that, hit that, then wait. And by the time I got back here, I was like, oh, it's like there's no chance I get up for this.
Yeah, no, because I went to sleep after 5. And then I'm like, he ain't back. Yeah, if Boink hadn't called me, I wouldn't have made it.
How was brunch?
Fun. It was just the 3 of us.
Oh, okay. So nobody else showed up either.
No, it's just me, Boink, and Zell. Sat there, had a couple pictures of mimosas. Ate, jolly, merry. I left, went to a birthday party. Came back home, went to sleep for like 5-6 hours. And got up and went to El Malo.
How was that? I guess that's what you meant when you said you were by me.
Yeah.
I didn't know what was going on. I knew that El Malo was maybe going to be the move just because that's what that group thing that Boink said. But I had to make a game time call. I hadn't heard anything from you. Gambles they booted Gamble's car.
Not shocked. He didn't pay for parking.
Yeah, they booted it, and then I went to the gym to I sweated out obviously, and then from there I'm like I didn't hear anything from anyone. Boink had sent me something, but I said by the time he had sent that, I would have had to have came back here, got dressed, and then drove to Buckhead, and I'm like, oh man, I'm not gonna be able to make it to his brother-in-law's
party,
graduation party. So then
I was gonna go, but I was asleep.
Yeah, I got a text from a birdie, and from there it made me consider some things, and I said, yeah, that sounds like fun. Let's do that.
Yeah, so I mean, El Malo, it was just Malo, whatever.
It was probably packed though, huh? You had to wait. Was it a line? Like you had to wait?
Yeah, but security was running a nice little deal. $40 skip line. He sneak you through the back door.
So you paid the $40.
Yeah, I wasn't waiting.
It was that bad.
Well, not just that. Two of my Marines I used to work with were in town, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna kick it with y'all, but like I never see Boink, so like we got to make these things work, you know?
Right. Either come here or you'll have to wait until I'm done here to link up.
Yeah, and it might be too late because that's which is what ended up happening. So they met me there. They'd already went in because they got in earlier because I told them about it before I took my long ass nap.
Mm-hmm.
So they beat the line and all of that stuff. So I'm like, let me go ahead and go on in here. And it was cool, you know, obviously not my class, so I didn't know the people. The DJ was he wasn't filling out the crowd. He wasn't responding to the crowd as the crowd was responding to the music, you know. He played like a set from our college years, brought the energy up, and then went into some more of that music that, you know, we hear when we're in there, that kind of islandy, just cool vibes.
Yeah.
But no, it wasn't
Afro beats.
Yeah, it just wasn't. It wasn't El Malo that you go there for, because you go there for the chill, but still a crowd. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It wasn't that. It was packed out, nut to butt, couldn't move.
Nut to butt, huh?
Yeah, it felt like college.
Felt like it was one of those Diddy parties, nut to butt.
No. People were.
I mean, I know he's more nut to nip, but you know,
literally.
It's a nasty. We'll get to him a little bit later, but it's a nasty motherfucker, man. That is a nasty nigga, man.
Yeah, like I don't. I mean, we talk about this all the time. There's a magic number up there somewhere that I want to steer clear of.
Mm-hmm. Actually, got a call from your UT alumni buddy yesterday.
What was he talking about?
Well, he's looking for a job, basically. If I knew anybody, like, so I told him, yeah, I was like, send me your resume. I can, you know, certainly send it to people I know that work in that industry. So that was what he called. Then he specifically asked about Homecoming. And what I wanted to do, and I said, man, look, I've got some big stuff that's coming up. And I said, once funds are in hand, I said, honestly, it was something I was really thinking about, was for Homecoming. I want to throw a party on Friday night. Okay. But I want the party to be I want the theme, I want it to be a white party, but I want it to be a not that Diddy party is literally what I want to call it. But I want it to be a white, like an all white party, and rent a mansion.
Okay.
And it be like something like from 11 p.m. to like 4 a.m.
So like a Diddy party.
Yeah, but not a Diddy party. That's literally actually what I told him what it would be called. Not a Diddy party.
That'd be fun.
It would be. Like, I scoped out like the mansion and where it would be. Like, it would be very much so. It would look very much so. And it's like the house itself. It's a really dope house. Every hour is like $700. It's like $700 an hour, but it comes with cleaning. Like, you don't have to worry about cleaning.
Okay.
So
we would not sleep in the mansion.
Well, we could if we wanted to, but that would be the thing. The party would start at 11, so you probably start renting it at probably 8, 9, something like that to get set up. Because the biggest thing would be having 2 security guards.
Yeah.
In my opinion, you need 2 really big ass security guards. I feel like the liquor. I have a liquor connect where I can buy bulks. Okay. And obviously, I would hope I could get you guys' help as well on that part. I'll purchase the place or whatever. Obviously make it to where Uber is encouraged, limited. Us. Why do we just switch?
No idea.
Let me see. That's weird. I feel weird sitting here.
Yeah, it's weird looking at you right there. Let's do this here.
There we go. That's a little odd, but but basically that'd be the premise of it. Um,
And it's the
man,
white party.
Yeah, throw a kick-ass soiree though. Like honestly, make it the best party that anyone's ever been to, but not a Diddy party.
What's the cover?
Ooh, well, you know what the crazy part is? I was thinking possibly no cover, but it'd have
You
to
don't
be
want
almost.
to charge.
Well, it would be invite though.
I know a bartender.
I do too. Yeah.
Who do you know?
The vegan.
Okay.
So there's her, DJ, my old neighbor. She
Yeah.
was one. She worked at Bar Vegan. She just wasn't there that day that we were there. I know a few bartenders. Hell, Justice has his bartending license. Like, I mean, he wouldn't be bartending.
We
But, like-
don't want Justice behind the bar. Not because he's Justice.
Yeah.
No, it's because it's a he.
Yeah, it would be nothing but attractive women.
But yeah,
And then even have like little trays. Like, it would be a legit experience to celebrate 10 years and leave a
so oh yeah,
lasting
so you,
memory on people.
that you know what? That would be a nice invite only party. Because
Now, I already looked at it. I think in total, in order for it to like pop off, especially because of the cost of the mansion and stuff, I'm looking at it would be like a $10,000 type thing, easy.
yeah, but here's the thing though. If you host it, you've got to find a way to try to get people to spend money because people will.
Maybe you do a raffle.
Raffle?
Yeah.
I'll raffle off some tickets.
Matter of fact, actually, I tell you what, it would automatically have to be a raffle. So the raffle would work this way. The half of the money would be donated to something, which is, I really hope everything turns out the way I want. This is something I've always wanted to do. I wanted to have a scholarship.
Scholarship?
Yep. I've always wanted to have a scholarship that I put in my mom's name. Now, my mom went to Clark, but my mom, and I guess I would tweak it, but I wanted it to always be something for a student that was going through something where their parents were sick. Like for me, obviously my mom had cancer, and it was tough. Like, bro, like especially during that first semester of my sophomore year, having to deal with that because it's the worst GPA I ever had. I had to drop like 2 classes. It was just hard. And so
yeah, that's totally understandable.
You make it to where the money, at least half of it at least, goes to that fund. And it's for a good cause. It's for the school. It's for us. Like,
well, here's all you got to do is create your nonprofit. You create your nonprofit, and now your foundation, right, is hosting this party.
The event. Yeah.
So now you can charge at the door because it's going to a cause.
Right.
And obviously you don't disclose the percentage now. You don't disclose the percentage.
Yeah.
Got to cover operating costs. But
Right.
now you're in a legitimate organization, throwing a legitimate party. And yeah. And for the people who might be on the fence, right? Do I go to the official 2015 party, blah, 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 whatever club that's going to be whack because it's going to be too many people there? Or do I go to an invite-only party that is only going to be, you know what I'm saying? It's going to be $50 cover as opposed to $50 club cover plus goddamn my section.
Plus, if you only, because think about it, that section's typically is only 1 bottle, depending on how big the section is. So then you might have to get additional bottles.
Yeah. Whereas here, ain't nobody popping bottles. We got nice looking bartenders over here.
It'll be all you can drink.
Hey, you put that cash up there.
Well, yeah. You got to tip the bartenders.
Drink tickets.
Drink tickets, yeah.
Each ticket comes with like 4 drink tickets. And we know.
Or make it to where that is what the 50-50, the donation, even.
Well, you don't tell them that. You like your bar money is your cover money, right? It goes into one pot after you break off your bartenders and whatever tips they steal, because they're gonna steal tips.
Right.
Like I'm telling you that, like, as your friend who will likely be helping you with this thing to some degree.
Yeah.
I am going to ask the bartenders for their Cash App to tip them directly.
And to get it all in one swipe too, do it immediately and say, "Hey, this is for the night," because it'll be bigger than obviously the one drink that they're getting.
Oh yeah.
But if they get a $40 tip, it's just like, no, this is for me all night, and then they'll remember you too because you're like, oh, he gave me the big tip already. Niggas are cutting line, you know.
Hey, so for you rookies, right? When you go to a packed bar, I'm not talking about the club, right? I'm talking about a packed bar, a fundraiser, a wedding, anywhere where there's like bar and you could have potential issues. Or you just go into a new bar and you want to get you a new bartender in there. You tip heavy on that first round. Even if you're going to tab it up, you buy that first drink by itself. You say, "Close me out." You give that big hefty tip. So she knows you, she sees you, or he.
That big tip, huh?
Yeah. And that's how you create a dynamic with the bartender without having to like talk to him and do all the extra that you will eventually do if you know how to nurture your bartender relationship. Trust me, I've done this many times.
I'm trying to pull up something to send to you real quick.
Parlay Pete, how do you feel about men who go out who don't have at least one bartender?
Men who go out and don't have one bartender. Oh,
Yeah.
that they know? Like,
yeah. It's weird, isn't it?
It would be weird if you don't, because it's like, so what do you do when you go out? Like, because to say that, oh, well, the only time I go out is with other people, that's a
different.
Well, but I don't believe that either.
Like,
there have been times where you've gone out, and whether it just be at a sports bar to watch a game, get dinner by yourself, whatever the case may be, you don't always have somebody with you. So, and if you don't have somebody else with you, unless you're an introvert, like all through and through, how do you not speak to anybody? And the person typically you're going to speak to is the bartender. That's who you're either that, or maybe if there's a hot chick that's there by herself next to you, sure. But like,
why is she
hell, there could be a guy, there could be a dude that you're talking to. Pause. Like, not like that, obviously, but like, you can meet a guy at a bar. But
in San Diego at the bar that you disappeared at, and me and Dale couldn't find you, I had 4 bartenders in there, and one of them was a dude. Because one of my other bartenders introduced me to him because she was leaving. He took care of me that day, pause. Well, the next time I see him, he rocking with me. And we already got the understanding because he got the blessing from his coworker. My only issue with that whole relationship was I was leaving too much gratuity for a man that I just didn't feel comfortable.
So I still have the invite on Facebook. The last time I threw a party,
okay,
it got really good reviews, obviously. I don't know if I had ever told you guys that story. You guys know I like crashed my ex-girlfriend's car into my creek.
Yes.
Okay, so that's what happened at this party. That was a part of it, at least a part of the night. But we had a party at my parents' house. My high school graduation party. Huh?
Were your parents in town?
Yeah, absolutely.
It was a joke.
Oh, yeah. Of course, though. They were there, and it's the closest thing to kind of especially because I ended up crashing the car, which fuck. But it was one of the closer things to a Project X type party. I mean, we don't have a pool at my parents' house, but like somebody got bit by our dog. They had a whole area, the smokers. So I know you've only been over there once, but there's an area next to my parents' garage where it's just an open space. It's like a bonfire going on over there that night.
Okay.
But it was all the smokers. People gifted me stuff. Like I got a long pipe that somebody gave me to smoke. I didn't smoke like that in high school either. But like, it was a lot that went on that night. I mean, a lot of fucking. I mean, it was some crazy shit that was honestly going on. Beer pong tournament. You name it. It was everything. But it was just good. It was a good ass time. Like, you know.
Playing beer pong in high school, huh?
Yeah, of course.
Wow.
We played on a real table because there's a pool table downstairs, and we had a ping pong table so that we would put on top of it if we ever wanted to play ping pong. So we played on that big ass thing, which is why I always, even in college, I was like, bro, this isn't even like a real like table size. And I get it, we're in college, so it's different. Like nobody has a big ass table.
I didn't start playing beer pong until like my junior year of college.
I played a lot in high school.
Yeah, no, I didn't start playing beer pong until after I turned 21.
Wow.
Yeah.
We would have that too.
My first birthday, my 21st birthday was actually my first beer.
You're a fucking liar. Let me guess, what kind of beer was it? You had an O'Doul?
No, I actually had a Yingling. That was my first legal beer.
Yeah, your first legal one. Yeah.
It was my
I
first
couldn't
one.
tell you what my first legal. Man, I don't even remember.
So here's how I know what my first legal beer was. Shout out to my nigga Haitian Josh. We went to Hooters on my actual 21st birthday because I threw quite a rager the night before. You know, shout out to y'all. Y'all made it look like I could throw a good house party.
I don't remember what I did. You know, it's funny. I think that we threw a party here, honestly. I just don't remember because that would have been senior year. I turned 21 at the start of the year.
Yeah, fucking child.
Well, hey, you know, I always used to think I was the youngest, but it's Gambles. Gambles is the youngest.
Yeah.
Because his birthday is somehow in October and he's in our class. But I always was typically the youngest person in my class. So that's why I'm like, Gambles, how did you? But I guess Florida's different than Georgia. In Georgia, you know, you have to be a certain age before Labor Day.
Cutoff is like September or something.
It's Labor Day. It's like Labor Day.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. My birthday's not even a full 2 weeks before Labor Day. So.
Damn. My 21st birthday, the weekend itself was hilarious. The Thursday night, we go to Emory. I get introduced to 21 cup beer pong. So we're playing that on an actual like pool table size table.
Hold on. Were you not in the drinking Olympics?
No. One of the most coveted free agents, but I never signed.
Boo. I don't know why. You know what? No, I know you weren't with Boyd.
No, I would never be on. The problem was I didn't have a team.
Well, why aren't you on his team?
I wasn't playing with them California niggas.
They ended up winning somehow.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have won. We should have won.
Yeah.
They beat us. It was
yeah, I know. And it fucked up my suite.
Well, look.
Put two niggas in the finals as roommates.
Well, think of it this way. Josh Holsey, his mess up happened before.
No.
Because he walked out with his pants down.
No. He pissed
remember, this
was
before Uber. This is before we had Uber. Like, I drove there.
Niggas was really going to the drinking Olympics and driving home.
And they knew what they were doing. And it was going to be tough to have a DD. Like, because anyone that was, I mean, yes, there were people that were going to just watch and maybe drink a little, like while watching.
It's homecoming week, though. You're drunk.
Exactly. Everybody is. And, they held it so far off campus. That shit was closer to here, which is why I drove, because it was only like 5, 6, 7 minutes from here. And like, I had an SUV, obviously, so like it made it easier for me to transport multiple people. Like my neighbor Tondi, like she rode with me, like Justice. It was a couple people, but like
3 people pissed in my suite that night.
on the floor.
No.
So where do they piss?
Couch.
Oh, piss themselves.
Yes. One, you remember Pick Nasty, right?
Yes.
He got drunk as hell and pissed on Teron's bed. So I pull up from Opera because we didn't go to the Drinking Olympics.
Because that was Thursday night. The Drinking Olympics is on Thursday night.
No, it was a Wednesday. Pretty Nasty on Thursday.
Okay.
So I pull up from Opera, and Teron is like squared up with Pick Nasty on Parsons. I'm like, nigga, what is going on here? So me, Young Boink, and Marv, we go check it out, right?
Yeah.
We fix the situation. Hey, Pick Nasty, like, I'm about to drive to Lithonia. And I'm like, nigga, no, you're not. You're hammered. Nah, I'm going home. This nigga tripping, like, he acting different around the hoes. No, nigga, you pissed in his bed. Like, you took a nap drunk and you pissed in his bed. Yeah, he should whoop your ass. And he got hoes over here, nigga. He
so
can't
right,
do like
any fucking, if he was gonna be fucking, not happening in there.
Yeah. So we take Pick Nasty to the suite and put him on the couch. Leave, go back. Pick Nasty pisses on the couch. Then Josh falls asleep in his chair in the living room. Pisses in the chair. Eric makes it to his bed somehow and then like opened up one of his drawers and just started pissing.
Was there anything in the drawer, or was it an empty drawer?
Nah, it was closed. This shit in there.
At that point, I don't understand why you just don't piss on the floor. I mean, but
Because he's incoherent. These, like, you gotta understand, these niggas were drunk that whole next day because that Thursday morning we had ROTC shit. And like Josh somehow made it through. I don't know how Josh made it through. Eric got sent home. They were like, nah, bro, you gotta go. Like, you can't show up to work drunk. And then I got cursed out for letting them come. Pause. It's crazy. It was like, why did y'all just leave him at home? I'm like, because I didn't want them to get in trouble. Well, they're going to get in more trouble now because they're drunk. And I'm like, oh. They didn't get in no real trouble. But like, nah, we had to like me and Boink had to like dress Josh and Eric.
It was that bad.
Yes. Like, I'm talking about nigga, like besides taking, like, putting on a fresh pair of drawers, nah, them niggas wore them pissy drawers. I'm not doing all that. But like, niggas had to grab their uniforms out their closet and like picking up legs and do like they're fucking kids.
Look, it was a tough night. I mean, and you know, they made it to where we had to be nations in that Drinking Olympics. So we were Team Jamaica. It was me, JP, Jew, and Josh. That was the team. And we should not have lost to them. There was a lot going on that night.
I mean, yeah, you don't lose to Eric, Jam, Joe, and who, Essex?
I don't even remember. I just know that we shouldn't have lost to them. We were far more, I thought, far more seasoned. We had the put it this way, we had the talent. Like, the talent was on our side. We had the talent to get it done.
Yeah, y'all the 2011 Heat.
Yeah. And we just
Hey, we're an hour in and we haven't talked about shit. 40 minutes.
Well, you know, when you get into these type of conversations, it's not truly needed.
But you know what? I think it makes sense for you looking back on 10 years from your graduation from Morehouse College. Shout out to Dr. Ann Watts.
To throw something epic.
Nigga, what?
I'm talking about the party. That's how we kind of got started on all.
Yeah, but I was just saying, just the whole 10-year piece, because you know your 10-year reunion was this past weekend that you skipped.
I didn't skip it. I mean, I wasn't gonna go up to the school. Again, homecoming is more of what that's for. I feel like that's the, and even though you know you're not gonna run into people at homecoming, like you're gonna just not run into people just because that's just how it's set up. But
Well, especially now with all the VIP lines.
But that's the real celebration. It's at homecoming. It's not going to be. I could have went to the what would be considered the formal celebration, right?
You know who else is coming home too?
Who?
I don't know.
Are we talking about more? Like, what do you mean?
You know, a lot of people with a 10-year coming up. Morehouse, Spelman, you know.
I'm honestly drawing a blank here, Lee. Can you give me a hint?
What about someone in class of 2015? Well, I look forward to seeing at homecoming. Who would be literally coming home? My God, do I need to put it on a T for you?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
What does their name start with?
I don't know. It's really hurting me that you can't figure this out.
Well, we've got a private chat. Why don't you put it in there? Huh?
No, I'm just gonna keep dropping hints.
Did they go to Spelman?
Because you're just not.
Well, you said you know who else is coming home, and I'm like, yeah, everybody graduated. Enjoy. Like I'm just trying to figure out who. It's obviously a woman, but I'm just trying to figure out what woman.
I don't know any women.
Okay. I'm drawing a blank here.
It's crazy that you're drawing a blank because like when I tell you who it is, it's gonna be like, duh, nigga.
Well, there's only one person that I have in mind, and
duh, nigga.
I don't understand how I'm trying to see where you're going with it.
With the coming home?
Yeah.
It's triple entendre.
Hey man, can you just tell me? It's really
hold on. Coming home to daddy.
Okay.
Coming home because Atlanta is home.
Okay.
And then coming home to Spelman because Spelman's home. Triple entendre.
I'm gonna assume that this person's name starts with a K.
I don't know. I don't know what this person's name starts with.
Okay. All right. Well, either way, yes, it will be a momentous occasion. Here, we're gonna get to some basketball.
This is what makes this show great.
You're not explaining this very well. It's. I understand you're giving me a triple entendre,
but I mean, you figured it out.
I have an idea. Oh, okay. All right. I figured as much. So, all right. Okay. That was the person who I had in mind, anyways. But I was just trying to see where are we going. Like,
you just shouldn't think too hard. You know, have you read Malcolm Gladwell Blink?
No.
First thought's the best thought.
Okay.
You just have to train yourself to ensure that your first thought's the best thought in each situation. Anyways, let's talk hoops.
We should probably start get the sound. The
NBC.
NBC.
I'm literally hopping on YouTube to do the NBA on NBC to play it. Let's see.
And then when we do get it cut up, sounds not too great on my end, but
oops, I was only supposed to use 9 seconds. We're getting flagged, buddy.
We'll be all right. Yeah, let's talk hoops. We got a Western Conference Finals and an Eastern Conference Finals that are set. Obviously, one of the games being the first game of the Western Conference being played yesterday, and then tonight we get the Eastern Conference game. But let's start with the Western Conference since we do know the result of game one. Were you surprised at all by how that game went?
Minnesota in 6.
Okay, so you liked them probably to bounce back and get game two, and most likely protect home court and then win it in 6 at home.
Yes. Nothing about yesterday changed how I felt. I don't really overreact to game ones. Like even when New York beat Boston in game one, I'm like, well, they missed 45 threes and Boston came back from like 20. I mean, New York came back from like 20 in the fourth for some crazy shit. So Boston will be fine, you know.
Right.
And then they weren't fine, and then that's when I would reevaluate. Now, if Minnesota gets the doors blown off of them, I'm not gonna say Minnesota's gonna win 4 games in a row against OKC. Like I don't like those odds.
I think that the first half was more indicative of what the series will look like. Oklahoma City clearly has a thing about them in that second quarter and third quarter, though. Like, that's where they win their basketball games. It's not the end of the game. It's in the middle.
Steph Curry Warriors.
Well, and just, I guess I look at it this way. Because in both games, their last 2 games, which now that sounds like a really hot bet to take the road team against OKC in the first quarter, because you can do like first quarter money line and stuff like that. Sounds like the best bet to take, honestly, because they do get off the slow starts. It looks like when the competition is when it's good. Now obviously it's different when you play against the Memphis Grizzlies or something like that. But second straight game of them kind of turning it up and blitzing the competition. I liked what I saw out of Julius Randle. He played super well, like in that first half. He looked really good. And he's looked good all playoffs, But I think there's because you count these series this way. There's gonna be a game that Ant just wins, right? Where he takes over. It's a game.
Yeah, he goes like 37 to 43.
And it was his game. It was like, man, they didn't have any answers for him. So you kind of win for that. You get these are just home games, like they're gonna dig it and win type home games. And then you need that other game where it's somebody else, Dante DiVincenzo, or in the case of the Lakers series, Rudy Gobert, right? Where somebody that you don't expect.
Or Scott Foster or Tony Brothers is on the call and none of the touch fouls get called for Shea.
Yeah. Right.
Like that,
he
got on
the free throw line
McDaniels
5 times in a game. As opposed, I said he'll visit the line 5 times as opposed to 15 in a game.
Yes. And Chet will be in foul trouble, and then Rudolph goes crazy. He got played off the court yesterday. He only played like 20 minutes.
He didn't. Hartenstein had a strong game. Chet's length is like it's not like you would think that Rudy Gobert as a 4-time DPOY would be able to do more than what he can do in certain matchups. And for me, it's not necessarily like, oh, he's got to play the perimeter. Like if Chet's out there, like he needs to be out there, right? Now, that's a completely different story if Hartenstein and Chet are on the floor at the same time. Obviously, he just stays at Hartenstein down low. But when Chet's running the 5, he's got to be better. I don't know. He just has to be better.
And this is why I hate defensive awards and no longer use people's defensive awards or anything to like how I rack and stack them.
Mm-hmm.
Rudy Gobert's a really good off-ball rim protector. But like he doesn't play like great one-on-one post defense. You know what I mean? Like he's not a great one-on-one defender. He's an off-ball defender. And that's how you only play 20 minutes against a team that has 2 bigs. And yeah, Chet can handle the ball, but I don't think Chet's the most shifty player left to right, you know?
Right.
And he's frail. Like, is he 230 pounds? Like, Julius
I
Randle.
don't think he is.
Yeah, now like Chet can't guard Julius Randle. What's my man's name? Kenny Lofton Jr.
Chet is, man, check this out. 207 is what it has him listed as. So think
Bro,
about it. I weigh damn near almost as much as Chet.
I'm about to say I've been 198. That's not okay.
You want to know where they're getting cooked though, and his leadership is needed, of course. But Mike Conley, and he actually kind of didn't play bad yesterday, but like at the same time,
They good. I think he was like 1 for 6.
Let me see. You got to bring out the tail of the tape.
I mean,
hate to be box score Holsey here, but
Minnesota didn't shoot the ball well, and they had a bunch of turnovers, live ball turnovers specifically, and they didn't force many live ball turnovers. I think OKC had as many steals as the Timberwolves had forced turnovers. So like, what you expect?
Ant's got to shoot the ball more. That's something that definitely.
Yeah. And I think he will game 2. I'm not worried about Ant, like the moment being too big for Ant.
Dante DiVincenzo shot more shots than anyone on the Timberwolves yesterday.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah, and but here's the real issue. They're your 3 biggest bench producers: Naz Reid, DiVincenzo, and Alexander Walker. They were a combined 7 for 36. So that's not gonna get it done against anyone, let alone a team that also has just as much depth, if not more depth, than you. Again, Julius Randle played well.
Minnesota had a bad game. And some might say it was OKC swarming defense and Caruso and all of that, but
nobody really kicked ass for the Thunder, though. I mean, Chet played an efficient game, but like,
what was Shea's final?
Shea was 10 for 27, 0 for 4 from 3 with 31, 9, and 5. So his 31 is misleading because he missed 17 shots. Like, you know,
that's what Shea does, though. Shea might have the most confidence of any player in the NBA. He don't stop chunking. You give him the ball.
But his inefficiency isn't a Kobe type inefficiency. Like when Kobe might shoot the ball 30 times in a game, right? And you'll look up and you'll be like, Kobe had 40, but he shot at 30. Kobe's points, I don't know, they feel like they're more impactful in a situation like that. I'm talking about chucking it up. It felt like his shots were bigger. They meant more.
I would have to disagree with you. I think they would mean about the same.
Okay.
Because they're niggas who are very talented scorers. Shea modeled his game after Kobe. He just doesn't have the athleticism, the above the rim stuff. It just doesn't look the same because Shea's body and his athleticism are different. But he's modeled his game after a later Kobe. So yeah, this team won 60 games behind Shea scoring 30 every day and him being announced
68 games. Almost, think about that. Almost 70 wins.
Yeah, so like I do think Shea's buckets had the same impact as Kobe. It just doesn't bro, I just don't like to watch Shea play basketball. I think he's really good. Like he's an amazing player, and I'm not upset by him being MVP. I would have preferred him to be the MVP last year. But you know, he gets his MVP, well deserved, kinda. I don't want to shit on it or like throw salt as I'm throwing salt and shitting on it, but like Joker had a better season. Shea just was on a better team. But nonetheless, he won 60 plus games and he scored 30 almost every night. Like Kobe wasn't winning 60 games when he scored 30 every night, you know. Yeah. Now, granted, his team wasn't built for him to win when he was scoring 30, but I kind of think it's from a similar mold.
Okay.
But I don't want to compare Shea and Kobe because they have different games, and I don't want to like I just don't think Kobe's necessary for this conversation right now because we're talking about the
Well,
Thunder.
you know, we just wanted to bring him up.
Yeah, we know. We know. We got one down.
I don't think we got too much football to talk about, so I don't know if that'll come up. But yeah, but
Didn't
yeah,
stop
all
you
in all,
before.
I think that the series, honestly, I think OKC is gonna win. I just do. I don't know. As much as I don't want them to win, because I just don't want them to win, just for me, my selfish reasons. I just don't want them to win. But boy, it sure as fuck looks like that's what's about to happen. It looks like they're about to win the whole thing.
Thanks for adding to my day.
Oh, check the story is because it wouldn't. She can't send stories. Just take a look at that.
That is a nice set. Oh wow, it's a nice back too.
Yeah,
She's beautiful.
I know it.
Like is she a lawyer?
I guess that's what she's trying to do.
Yeah, no, she's hot.
Yeah, man, stunner.
Like not even like I mean I know I'm objectifying her right now, but like I don't want to get to know her for who she truly is.
Well, it's one of those things where you know when you see a chick and they're like you don't want to sound like a dick rider or anything like that, but like chicks like this are flawless.
I mean,
like there's no holes in her game unless her personality really sucks. But like even that, typically you can get over that.
You know, she probably has some character flaws. If she's like a lawyer or a law school student, and she's that attractive while also having a monetizable fucking number of followers. Yeah, man, there's something wrong with her. But she's gorgeous, man. She's a beautiful like
I told you, I think I sent you. There's only 2 chicks on Instagram that I follow that are like not famous, but like just bad as fuck. And like neither of them. Well, the other one I'd been following since like Tumblr.
KD follows her.
Oh, and I'm sure she follows him back.
Excuse me, she follows KD. Yeah. She follows KD.
I'm sure
she only follows 230 people.
Well, I'm saying KD probably follows her too.
Let's see. Oh, no. Let me just search it. I don't know why I'm being difficult. Easy. Oh, no. It has your mutual.
Yeah, the mutual means
Joe Budden follows her.
And
KD does follow her.
Yeah.
Blake Sims follows her.
I started following her when she only had 30,000 followers.
Willie Reese follows her.
Yeah, I see Willie follows her.
You know who else follows her?
Who?
Adam.
You?
She's beautiful.
It's a great follow. I mean,
yeah, no,
let me tell you, beautiful women will motivate niggas to get their shit together because it's like I can't even have a legitimate chance in any realm if my shit's not 100% there. Like,
well, that's because you don't have Shea Gilgeous level confidence.
Well, hold on now. I'll shoot a fucking shot. Don't get it twisted. I'll shoot.
But your shit's also together.
It ain't where it needs to be.
I didn't say that, but
yeah,
you're not a bum and you don't present bummy.
Right. Well, yeah, of course. You're right. I'm not.
You got some stuff going for you that gives you a base level of confidence in which to approach damn near any woman in the right circumstance.
Correct.
Because whatever you may be lacking on the flex and fly shit, you're comfortable with, or you can rationalize to a person who's truly interested in you.
Exactly.
Like if a chick tried to shit on me, like where I'm like currently living at right now, I go, well, you know what? Here's my rent.
Well, and you're a homeowner too. So,
Not anymore.
which is, oh, you got it good to go?
Yeah, we're sold.
Oh, good deal. Good deal.
Yeah.
Well, regardless, you were a homeowner. One way.
Yeah, like I'm a responsible adult. So like yeah.
Yeah. And so, but a lot of people can't say that. And so it's like nobody should ever talk about anyone, especially if someone owns property. What are we talking about? You know what I mean? Like in
Bro,
reality, literally
I
the
got
most valuable asset, the richest people in the world, bro, they got that shit from real estate. Like, you know what I mean? Like Rockefeller, like these people that like it was all about who bought the fucking land. That's who. Like
McDonald's is a real estate company.
exactly, they're a real estate company. Chick-fil-A, real estate company.
Hey, let's buy this shopping center and then build our thing here.
Yeah.
But let's get back to hoops. Shave's the MVP while we're on the Western Conference. How do you feel about that?
Indifferent. I mean, I'm understanding of how he got it, but again, like you said earlier, and like I said in the text, we know that Jokic is the best player in the league, and we know that he had a better season. Yeah. So.
Oh
I'm
shit! Hold on.
Jim
Irsay just passed away.
Really?
Yeah, like I saw him like on my Instagram feed, and I just didn't pay attention to the post, and then I opened up ESPN to look at to see what time the game starts, and yeah.
Was he at the fucking meetings and stuff that they just had?
I don't know, but I'm gonna read the statement from the Colts real quick. We are devastated to announce our beloved owner and CEO Jim Irsay passed away peacefully in his sleep this afternoon. Jim's dedication and passion for the Indianapolis Colts, in addition to his generosity, commitment to the community, and most importantly, his love for his family, were unsurpassed. Our deepest sympathies go to his daughters, Carly Irsay Gordon, Casey Foyt, Kaylin Jackson, and his entire family as we grieve with them. Some of Jim's fondest memories came from his youth working training camps in Baltimore and growing relationships with players, coaches, and staff whom he considered his extended family. He worked in every department before he was named the youngest general manager in team history in 1984 when the Colts arrived in Indianapolis. When he took sole ownership in 1997, he led the Colts to a long series of division titles and brought the city its first Super Bowl championship. Jim's love and appreciation for the NFL, in addition to its history, tradition, and principles, influenced him to become a steward of the game throughout his 50-plus years in the league. Jim's generosity can be felt all over Indianapolis, the state of Indiana, and the country. He made philanthropy a daily endeavor. He never hesitated to help countless organizations and individuals live better lives. Music was one of Jim's. Oh no, I lost my place. Music was one of Jim's passions, and the ability to share his band and collection with millions of people across the world brought him tremendous joy. Simply put, he wanted to make the world a better place, and that philosophy never wavered. Jim will be deeply missed by his family, the Colts organization, and fans everywhere, but we remain inspired by his caring and unique spirit. And I really wanted to read that statement, for one, to kind of show the world that reading aloud is not the most difficult thing. Yeah, I stuttered a couple times, but I stutter. But also, Jim Irsay is a true NFL lifer, and he is what I think the NFL should look more like from the ownership perspective. Like, granted, he grew up inside of a franchise, so he had the access early, him being a ball boy and stuff like that. But working in each department, truly learning football, then becoming a general manager, and like proving to his dad he deserves the team, and then taking over that team and building that team and rebuilding that team in his own image. And I'm not saying he's been like the best owner, made the best decisions. I'm not saying that. But somebody who truly loved football and knew football, owning a football team. Not a guy who loves money. Because I'm pretty sure Irsay made football decisions that may have clashed with him as the CEO of the franchise. You know what I mean?
Right.
So rest in peace to Jim Irsay. I know it's a sad day in Indy. Any thoughts, comments on Jim Irsay?
Yeah, RIP. I mean, 65 is so young. And certainly when, not that money
Shit,
matters,
my
but
mom is. Let me not tell my mom's age, but yes.
yeah, it's young. I mean, I speak on my dad. My dad will be 67 in July, and like, it's just that's young. 65 is pretty young, and if they said he died in his sleep, that makes it pretty interesting too.
Especially this afternoon.
Yeah, and he's, I think everybody will always remember him. Certainly, I mean, of course, he's the owner of the Colts, but I didn't even know that he was the GM. But it makes sense. He inherited that team from his dad. So, RIP to Jim Irsay. I know that a lot of people, it's certainly at least Twitter, will
Don't do
always
it.
remember.
Don't do
No,
it.
what's the truth though? They'll always remember him getting pulled over because think about it, he was driving
I know,
a
but let's leave. Not right now. It's fresh.
sure.
Come on.
We got some class about ourselves on this show, huh?
Yeah, bro, you're acting like the reporters when your favorite athlete passed away, and it's like this great article about him, and then they got
Well,
to
there's
throw in
nothing wrong with
Colorado.
what he did. It's just he was, that
I
was
know,
different.
but still,
The Kobe thing, that's trash to bring up something like that.
but anything that takes away from how
The
great they
legacy
are,
and who they were
legacy.
truly not one dark moment in their life. Yeah.
Yeah, like don't get me wrong. If we decide in our NFL preview show to go through like a Jim Irsay deep dive, cool. Then we can hit it. You know what I mean? But like right now, we don't know who's gonna see this.
Yeah. Well, one way or another, RIP to Jim Irsay.
RIP to Jim Irsay. But back to hoops. Eastern Conference Finals, or is it on right now? Or it's about to come
It's
on?
getting ready to start. Yeah.
These are late
So
showtime.
I'll tell you, I 100% feel this way about this series. Go 7. This shit's going 7. It went 7 last year. It's going 7 this year. I think the NBA, of course, wants the Knicks to win it. I could see the Pacers winning tonight, personally. They're deeper. That's just going to be the Knicks' problem. The Knicks' issue is their depth. They just don't have it. They've got 2 guys coming off the bench. One of them is a liability offensively. The other one's a streaky shooter. They just don't have the depth. But you know what? That happens when everybody that on your starting lineup has over $100 million contract. So, like, that's going to be, that's hard to do. But
well, Tibbs is the coach, so they deserve that money because of how he's going to play him anyways. You might as well pay him that much because they're going to play that much.
yeah, they're playing. I don't think anyone on that team doesn't play 35. They all are 35 plus guys. And so minutes, not millions, but minutes. But they might be all 35 plus million too. That might be what their contract says. But yeah, I think that the Garden's certainly a special place. Again, I've been to 2 games there, and I was lucky enough both times to be able to not feet on the floor, but have floor seats. Literally both times that I went to the game.
Were you in the Joe Budden seats?
No, so I'll tell you, the first time I went.
Did you hear the Fat Joe thing?
Mm-mm.
So Fat Joe and Jadakiss have a podcast.
Do they?
Yes, and it's on the volume. Yeah. Colin Cowherd got some 360. That nigga Colin ain't playing. He got Fat Joe and Jadakiss. He got Club Shay Shay, and he got 520. But anyways, so he was talking. He new podcast. They got to do some salacious shit to get people there. Yeah. So he talked about the Joe Budden and 50 Cent thing, and Joe was sitting behind him. So he talked about being feet on the floor, like in AA. He can't. He have to have his feet on the floor. He can't be in them Joe Budden seats. So yeah, using the Joe Budden seats.
Sure.
Floor, but you weren't touching wood.
Look, it doesn't matter to me. You don't know who was touching the floor when I went that first game? Gary V. Like that's who the fuck was. He was literally like 2 rows in front of me. And actually, we both did the nod because I was trying to make sure it was him, and I know he saw me looking at him, and then, we just did the.
Yeah. The way you're supposed to treat famous people when you see them somewhere where they're
and then
not.
They see you.
Yeah, but they're not actually like being famous. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and this was again a bullshit basketball game. The Knicks sucked at the time, and so did the Cavs. So they both were garbage teams. I got the seats. Crazy enough, man, I got them seats for like $250 a piece. So I took me and my child's mother. We went to that game, had a fantastic time. I met Mike Breen after the game. Obviously, all
That's
the Cavs, of course. Yeah, I got to meet him. Yeah, I got to meet Mike Breen.
Damn, your man's made you buy your own tickets?
So I could have got free tickets. This is the issue. I wanted to, once I saw I could get floor seats for $250.
Yeah.
He's given me tickets and stuff before, but I like to buy my seats.
I was being an asshole.
But he does. I mean, he will. If I ask, he'll give me tickets. But like, I wanted to sit on the floor, and then the next time
we need a courtside of Hawks game.
I'd love to. I want to courtside one of his games, one of Colin's games.
Maybe we do that. Yeah, like, and I mean,
maybe
but
he might not be
like,
a Jazz next year though.
Huh?
Said he might not be a Jazz next year though.
Yeah, and that's gonna affect the price.
Yeah, Will, I know, right? That's kind of what sucks. But
hey, but here's the shitty thing, right? And this sounds so stupid, but like whenever I go to a Hawks home game and I get floor seats, I've got to buy a new pair of shoes.
Everybody's gonna be looking.
Yeah, and you might be where the highlight happens. You don't want to be in that TikTok in some bullshit ass shoes getting clown.
Yeah. Plus, that's called what it really is. Them floor seats are really, it's almost like a runway in a weird way. It is a fashion statement. It is the one time, because basketball games in general, a lot of times aren't about basketball anyways. Especially Hawks games are not about fucking basketball. If you sit down there, them seats are not about basketball.
Sports inside of 285 of the two of the big three, they're not about the environment itself is not about the sport.
Right.
It's about the culture being seen.
Right.
But I think if we go sit courtside at a Hawks game, we're not gonna be on no fly shit.
No, probably not. I'd have on a nice pair of shoes. Like I'd probably wear my Nike Air Yeezys or something.
I'm gonna have on a nice pair of shoes, and I'm probably gonna wear a fucking quarter zip.
Hey, and then you're gonna be one of those guys that's because they come around with like candy and shit down there, all that stuff. And one of the guys when they give it, like everybody can just mouth what you're saying, just like thanks, like
Like we're talking about it Friday, but like I've hit this point in my life where I'm rarely ever trying to be fly. Like I'm gonna be presentable in the way that I'm dressed and appropriate for where I'm going, but like I ain't trying to be fly. That shit don't matter. It just don't matter.
Fly shit only.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you would definitely put on your Nike Yeezys, which is okay to wear. That doesn't have to be like perfectly clean. Like I would probably buy a pair of Forces that day.
Yeah.
Like
just for the occasion.
Yeah. And then be pissed off that I'm going to fuck them up that night because we're not going to go back to the house before we go out. Because I pay for it. I'm already going to be drunk.
It's a good call. The one thing I'll say about the Knicks, though, with MSG, and what makes it so special, so they have like and I know the Hawks do too, but it's not the same. The Knicks, with the floor seats, they have it. There's a whole different area that only the people sitting on the floor can go to. So I guess that's probably where all the famous people fucking mix and mingle. There was nobody famous at either of the games I did it. Or at least nobody that was notable to me. But because one of those games was on Christmas Day. I went the COVID.
I remember you
Hawks.
with Knicks Hawks Christmas Day because I was like, look at this cock here, just putting it
Well,
on the table.
I'm mad as fuck. I actually paid kind of a pretty penny for those seats. Those seats were like $700 a piece. But the thing is, I bought them so early. I didn't buy them like the day of. I bought them early because I knew that I was going to be in New York for Christmas. And then it ended up everybody having COVID. So it was like, it just sucked. Like, the game sucked. The game was like fucking garbage. It was one of the worst basketball games I've ever seen.
But $700 for tickets where you were sitting at, that's not bad.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't bad at all. And again,
you used to sit. I remember one year you could sit Hawks courtside, Hawks Celtics for $500 a ticket.
Yeah, and I don't know. MSG, best place to watch a basketball game, and the NBA wants that on TV. That's what they want. They don't want Indiana and Oklahoma.
And they won in the finals. It's not good, bro. I'm telling you, unless they just get so hot from three and New York and Minnesota refuse to like go to the basket, it will not. It won't be OKC, Indiana. I'll tell you that much. If Indiana thinks they have a shot of getting in, you've got to go with Minnesota because I think Minnesota's like the number 13 market in the league, and then you have the Ant-Man.
Right. Halliburton's not a guy. He's the least marketable of the star players of each team. So,
I'll tell you something funny about Halliburton, right? I was listening to Cal Hurd and Jason McIntyre today, and they were talking about Halliburton. And, white people love Halliburton. Which is fine.
Sure they do.
But, like, they also don't get why other NBA players don't really like Halliburton. And anytime I hear a media personality talk about a guy who they don't understand why players don't like him, I go, yeah, you don't understand niggas. Because, like, niggas who are niggas and who, that you understand why somebody don't like Halliburton.
They probably don't watch ball.
Well, somebody who doesn't like Halliburton?
Well, somebody that doesn't understand. They probably don't really watch ball anyways.
Because for one, his jumper is ugly. Bro, you can't have an ugly jumper and be taken seriously, even if you got a fire-ass jumper, bro. If that shit's ugly, it's just like, bro, why is this shit going in? And he's not athletic. He's not a crazy scorer. He light-skinned, good hair, and he talks shit, but he corny. Like, you listen to him in his interviews, you go, no, I hear his voice. You can't talk shit to me in his voice. If
you were Ryan Clark, you would you say that he's the RG3 of the NBA?
I mean, are you trying to take it there? Are you just trying to jump into that topic right now?
Look, we can. What are your thoughts? You say you like the Knicks. I like the Knicks. I think Knicks in 7.
I got Knicks. I got Knicks in 6, Wolves in 6.
I like Knicks in 7.
Knicks 6 looks different because I think the Knicks might win today.
I don't think that they beat them in Indiana. Oof, man, they might trade games, but I don't know. I like Knicks in 7. I of course want Timberwolves, but I just think OKC's going to win the series.
I just refuse to be objective with OKC. I just don't like their team.
I don't either.
I don't like their basketball operation. I think they do a good job there. But, like, I'm so tired of the Mark Dagnall blowing, the SGA blowing, the Sam Presti. Don't get me wrong. Sam Presti's a great GM. And I know
someone say the best in the league, Lee.
I can't call him the best in the league.
And why is that?
He hasn't won a ring, and he's had teams good enough to win rings.
Okay.
Like he's not like shit. You can take the New York group, or you can take Tibbs, right?
Mm-hmm.
New York's front office has not had a championship level team before, right? But they've done a great job building out the roster since they've taken over.
Yes.
Tom Thibodeau is a really good coach who hasn't won a ring. But has Tom Thibodeau really had a championship level team? And just like, Tibbs shit the bed. Like his team like should have won a championship and didn't.
Some would have maybe thought those Bulls teams, and I say that not because they were better, they were never better than Miami, but like maybe because Derrick Rose, and we know he got hurt, but like
he was young.
What they had: Luol Deng, Joakim Noah, Derrick Rose, Ben Gordon, Kurt Heinrich. Were they both still there?
I don't think Ben was.
Ben might have not been there, but Kirk was. They had Nocioni. They had a couple of guys on that team.
But we also know that Derrick Rose was too young to win a championship before he got hurt as the best player. Not saying that it couldn't happen, but per NBA history, like that's why what Ant-Man is doing right now is not really getting the respect it deserves. But at 23, being in his second conference finals, and pretty much since year 2, he's been in the playoffs for a franchise that went to the playoffs one time since 2004. It's actually crazy shit that's ahead of time. It's ahead of where he's supposed to be in his career.
Here's the X factor. Rick Carlisle is the only championship coach in this Final Four.
And that matters because Rick Carlisle is actually a really good coach. Like, he coaches.
Exactly. But see, that's part of the reason why, for me at least, I don't know, man. I could see Indiana beating the Knicks.
No, I could see it too. Like, I mean, these niggas are playing full court defense right now.
Yeah, and they play.
But Halliburton is checking Mikal Bridges, so this should be the Mikal Bridges game. So you brought up RG3 and RC, right?
Yeah.
But I think before we get there, we should probably get to the W. And the only thing that we're going to talk about in the W, besides Kelsey Plum dropping 37 in her LA Sparks debut, get out the way, Asia. It's my turn now.
I was Caitlin Clark in women's basketball before she was. I think people forget that.
But you know what? That goes into this conversation with the Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese thing. Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese are easily the two most popular players in WNBA history. They're more popular than Asia. They're more popular than Sue Bird, Diana Taurasi, Candace Park. They're more popular.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear your argument. I don't want to hear you tell me that you cared 10 years ago. Nobody else did. And this is from somebody who cared a little bit. Like, I followed women's basketball. Like, I know the stars. So because of that, there's way more conversation about the WNBA. There's more fans, which means you open it up for more nasty stuff, more out-of-pocket stuff. You know, now they're going to be on First Take being discussed. They're going to be on all the sports shows, right? So with more attention comes more praise, but also comes more scrutiny. And the problem is too many people in the WNBA universe aren't used to that level of scrutiny because they hadn't been talked about like that as adult professionals. And people, you know, you don't talk bad about the college kids too much. You keep it tame because they're still kids.
Right.
So now we have conversations around the WNBA and specifically Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. They've built this out to be Bird and Magic, but it's more like Bird and Rambis, you know, Magic and Rambis or something like that, or Bird and fucking Dennis Rodman.
Bird and Michael Cooper.
Yeah, like let's just say the Worm. Let's say Dennis Rodman. Still doing Hall of Fame level shit, but come on, man. And I also think that Angel Reese's life is more aligned with Dennis Rodman's because she be outside, which there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong.
Yeah, more celebrity.
Yeah, but you have all of this happening, and with that, there's a lot of pushback on the different framing and the different narratives and the scrutiny that's coming along with it. But you and I know, like, this is part of the game. Like, we both on Saturday were either watching or following that game. We're texting about it.
Right. I caught the second half. Whenever the foul, I saw the foul live. Like, I saw it. And
I was
honestly, it was such a bad call too, by the way. It was like, that was a bad, like, that's a bad, it was a take foul. Like, it wasn't, I don't know. That wasn't it. It shouldn't. She shouldn't have got a flagrant for it, and she should. And Angel Reese shouldn't have really realistically gotten up in her face like that either. Like,
what?
But hey, watch. They're selling something.
Hey, hold on. Watch the video I just sent you on IG because it may change your opinion. Now, me personally, I thought it was just a take foul. She put a little extra oomph on it, but that's basketball.
This looks like a bad.
Doesn't that look like AI a little bit?
I don't think that was the foul.
It looked kind of AI-ish, don't it?
Well, I just don't remember it looking like this. And again, this is also from a different angle.
If you swipe over,
If
you swipe over, I don't remember if it's left or right, but it's
DeAndre Drummond?
No. Let me see. Never mind. It was just another post.
I like how somebody got somebody on this. One of these guys is winning their first ring, and it's a picture of OG Anunoby, Pascal Siakam, Dante DiVincenzo, and Alex Caruso.
Yeah, why is Caruso and Siakam on there?
They all have won rings.
But also, they're not the guys who get to make the poster. But they also have rings. Like,
yeah, they all have. Come on, because I think people forget OG Anunoby was on the Raptors team. Obviously, Pascal was too. DiVincenzo was on the Bucks, and Caruso was on the Lakers. So it's like,
oh shit, all these niggas got rings. I didn't even.
That's what I'm saying. But somebody will look at it and be like,
I just missed the post when I first saw it. Once I saw Pascal and Caruso, so I was like, whatever. I forgot Dante got a ring.
Yeah, they've all got them. Mm-hmm.
But so yeah, we both agree that it was a take foul. Shouldn't have been a flagrant, but if you call the flagrant, whatever, let's move on. But I think the response to it is the problem, right? Because there's a legitimate basketball response and there's a legitimate criticism that can come with this. And then it gets like super racy and nasty because, you know, Cheryl Swoops went and did her hating this week. You know, she had to do that. Tell you what, Gilbert Arenas knows how to produce a fucking show.
That's just about what she's turned into anyways, though. It's just she's upset that the WNBA actually gets some viewership now, period, like just across the board. And her greatness basically isn't talked about because nobody saw it.
Because nobody cared.
Yeah, nobody and they still don't. But think about it, nobody still don't give a fuck about what the WNBA was.
If a tree falls in the woods, does it make noise? I mean, obviously it does. But
if you weren't there to hear the noise, to you, no.
If you won multiple MVPs in a league that we didn't watch, are you really in the GOAT conversation? In all reality, yeah. But you're never going to make the conversation because we didn't care and we didn't watch it.
But still don't care. That's the thing. That's the other part. Nobody wants to go back and, you know how NBA TV will put up like greatest games and stuff like that? Nobody's searching for Cheryl Swoops highlights. Nobody.
I mean, the comments don't even exist anymore.
Right. There's that aspect of it too.
And this isn't to shit on like Cheryl Swoops. She's a great basketball player. She's just a hater. But then we get Angel Reese in the press conference, right? Very short, very snippy. And I think Gilbert Arenas made a great point because with he and Cheryl, they were going back and forth on the conversation, right? And Cheryl was saying that Angel's being painted as the angry black woman, and Gilbert's like, well, she's being the angry black woman. And Cheryl's like, well, she has reason to be angry. And Gil's like, yeah, she does. But she's still an angry black woman. Like she's playing into the narrative. And Cheryl's saying Caitlyn should have stood on the foul and not walked away. No, Caitlyn knew exactly what she did. She take foul. I'm gonna give you a little extra, but I'm gonna walk away because I'm not gonna get nose to nose with you because that's not my brand. And a lot of this conversation around these two is really just about how you choose to build your brand. And I think that Angel has taken an off the court method towards building her brand and being more celebrity than basketball player. Not saying that she's not committing to basketball, not putting in the work. You know what I mean? She's just more celebrity than basketball player. Whereas Caitlin Clark has kind of carried herself as a basketball player, and she's the real reason why we're watching. And I don't care that she's white. She's good.
She looks like a generational women's basketball player to me. And not just because of what she did in college, but because of what she's already doing in the W. She's making it seem effortless, honestly, like kind of like what she does. Because she facilitates, like I think people forget she's not just a shooter. Like she's a facilitator. Like she does all that. And she's a little bit taller than people think she is because she's like 6 feet.
Yeah.
So she rebounds, which that is still in the women's game. Her being 6 feet she could be a small forward, basically.
Bro, and she's second. She's second in the WNBA in
triple doubles.
And she has the most games in WNBA history with 25 points and 10 assists.
And she just started her second
some
season.
Of that is played 2 games. And don't get me wrong, some of it is style of play because she has the ball in her hands more than they did traditionally. But also, she's just Mo-Fi. And that's okay. And yeah, there are more white people watching women's basketball because of Caitlin Clark, but there's also more black people watching women's basketball because of Caitlin Clark. And there's also more black people watching women's basketball because of Angel Reese.
Yeah.
Like, it's some black people out here who are just watching Angel Reese because she's Angel Reese. Nothing more, nothing less. They're riding with Angel, and they don't even care about it. Like, they don't care about the fact that we got Steph Curry and Andre Drummond being called rivals. Larry Bird and Dennis Rodman are really being called rivals. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that's not real. Yeah, the rivalry is real because of college and into the pros, but like they're not the same class of player. No one's building their franchise around Angel Reese at today.
Absolutely not.
But did you see RG3 and RC talk about this?
I did. I saw RC's take on the pivot, and then I saw RG3's response, and then I saw.
Do you want me to play it?
Yeah, you might as well give us a. I forgot how long. You don't have to play the full thing, but
I know I sent it to you within the last 24 hours.
You didn't see the. Did you see Acho though?
No, I never got to see Acho.
Fucking hate Acho, man.
I mean, he's bad.
He is bad. He's bad, and then he tried to take it from the perspective of I'm friends with both of these guys. It's like we got a man that's talking bad about a black woman, and then we got a black man bashing a black man. What does this solve? Like Acho looks. I already know what Acho said to fuck Joy Taylor. Like, cause you can read this nigga's book.
Oh yeah, strong black queen, all that bullshit.
Acho truly did come from the school of Oprah Winfrey. He did.
Bro, why can't I find this?
Acho.
Well, I can't find the clip, and I'm done looking for it, but RG3 pretty much came out and said that Angel Reese responded in the way that she did because she doesn't like Caitlin Clark. And he pointed at Angel Reese pushing Caitlin's teammate in the back. He pointed at different things that have happened, like when I think Kennedy Carter fouled the shit out of Caitlin Clark. Angel celebrated. They also showed some stuff when Angel got fouled hard and there was nothing about it. You know what I mean? Angel didn't get up, acted all like she wanted to do something. But it
see, they
happened
had a Kennedy Carter there to do that. That's a full blown bull dagger there. That's a nigga.
Did you see her kiss the tit?
Kiss the chick? No, where?
She likes in Mexico. She signed a chick asked her to sign her tit, and then she signed it, and then she kissed it.
Like the titty or the nipple?
The titty.
Okay. I did not see that.
Yeah. So yeah, we saw that, but
which is curious as to why she's not in the W still. She was like their leading scorer.
Talking to Wayne, who couldn't be here with us today, schedule conflict, but we're gonna get him on soon since the WNBA started. He was pretty much saying that like between her personality and her style of play and what the W is today, it just doesn't really work. Like she's a bucket, but her being a bucket doesn't necessarily make other people better.
It doesn't supersede everything else, basically.
Yeah, like she's an NBA six man with like a superstar's ego. Based on like I drew that from our conversation.
Okay.
But yeah, then RC kind of responds, he responds on the pivot, and he didn't really attack RG3's basketball argument at all. He just kind of talked about how RG3 doesn't have these black women conversations, and then he's making this a black-white thing, and how he bigs up white women and Milk because they work together, and you know RG3 has been married to 2 white women, and Ryan Clark forgot about his white baby mama. And he just did his Ryan Clark shit, you know, the whole race baiting, I stand with black women bullshit.
Yeah.
And it's not bullshit to stand with black women. It is just bullshit in the way that Ryan Clark goes about it because he almost.
It's his MO.
Yeah, and he treats black women as if they can't stand up for themselves. They're just these helpless beings.
RC.
Parlay Pete, to this point, I'm gonna respond to some of the Ryan Clark shit. And I'm kind of gonna stand with RG3 just a tad.
Well, and that's kind of maybe more how I feel. I think that I get where RC was going with it, but at the same time, like, I do think it was inappropriate to bring up like this nigga's wife and stuff. Like that it wasn't necessary in reality.
I slapped the shit out you, nigga. Don't talk about my wife.
Yeah, that wasn't necessary. I don't think he can make that judgment call on RG3 either just because he's married to white women. Like, even if he didn't bring up, like, talk directly about his wife, like, you can't just say that. And I get it. I know that they work together. So he's giving insight to something that we're not privy to because of the personal relationship that he had. But he didn't have to say that. I don't think that him having his basketball take of saying, like RG3 saying she don't like her, it appears that way anyways. Whether she does or doesn't, we don't know. But like, it does appear that way. It would appear like she doesn't like her. Yeah, and the way that she's talked about it in the past, like, I mean, it makes total sense, I guess, is all I'm saying.
And it was obvious that RG3 was trying to get a reaction in his post, but that's the game, right? And going back to the good brother Rob Parker, who called RG3 a cornball brother. Not the type of guy that would go to one of his Detroit barbershops.
Well, remember, he asked if he was really down with the cause.
Well, you got to understand, Rob Parker is a nigga. He owns barbershops in Detroit.
This nigga asked if he was really down with the cause, though.
But you know what he really wanted to say?
Yeah, but just think about saying that. Period. Was he?
It's
It's
a
like I don't know if he's
nasty.
really down with the cause or not.
It was a nasty thing to say on TV back then. Niggas would say it today, but he wasn't wrong for what he said.
If he was really down with the cause, and you know,
But
he
think
did it.
about it.
He kind of did that shit with a smile on his face.
Because he's talking to niggas and he's telling niggas, this nigga ain't no nigga, but I can't say it on this white man's network. But I gotta let y'all know, this nigga ain't who y'all think he is. Cause you know, niggas was fucking with RG3 at Baylor. RG3 is really who made the crazy dress socks a thing. Like he made that shit like style, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But
the one sleeve too.
yeah. But I'll tell you, I didn't like what Ryan Clark did at all, because let's talk hoops. And if you're going to shit on RG3 for being a cornball ass nigga, there's ways that you could word it that didn't bring his wife into it.
Yeah.
Because as somebody who married outside of my race, and I talked about this on the pod last night, bro, it was like a low-key insecurity for me at times, where people are questioning your blackness and your commitment to black people and it's just like, dog, professionally, I'm in a job where there's not many black people, and I'm an advocate for black people in my job, as you know, within what I'm allowed to do. Like I ain't breaking rules for niggas.
Right.
But like if I could help a nigga out, I would, right? I'm in the community, in these schools, doing all this stuff focused on black kids. But in my house, I still have these blackity black conversations, even if my partner doesn't understand what it's like to be a black woman, right? I still talk about some of the stuff that I hear. I talk about some of the stuff that I don't understand, and she provides a different perspective, right? She provides an outside perspective on how black women can be perceived and misunderstood. Because she's like, yeah, I see this, I see that. I don't think this way, but I see that. You know what I'm saying? Like, the conversation isn't two black people discussing it, and you can't get into what it truly feels like. But you can still speak based on your judgments, your analysis. We didn't play pro sports, but we talk about it. We're not celebrities, but we talk about pop culture, because we can take information, still analyze it. And that was my biggest issue with what Ryan Clark did. He pretty much just said, hey, nigga, you can't talk about something if you ain't did it. Well, Ryan Clark don't talk about basketball anymore. Hey, Ryan Clark, stop speaking up for black women because you ain't a fucking black woman. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I just think that shit's wacky. And guess what, bro? If you a solid nigga, you still gonna talk about nigga shit no matter who's in your house. My white friends, they've heard me say nigga. I ain't heard them say it. They've heard me say it. You know why? Because it's a word that I use. So if you around me in that element, that environment, nigga, that's what you gonna get. And I might call you a motherfucking nigga, even if you ain't black. You better not call me one. But I don't know. I just, niggas just be, Ryan Clark out here tweeting to get pussy and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, ooh, hoes gonna like this. Ooh, I'm gonna walk her back. I'm gonna give her my jacket, even though it's sprinkling.
Yeah.
Walk to the gate ass nigga.
RC, you know, we met RC too. That's the crazy thing. But
I bet he's a cool nigga when he ain't on camera.
Yeah, RC.
It's just, nigga, that shit just so lame, bro.
Well, it just, again, he took it too far bringing up that man's wife. He didn't have to bring up this dude's wife. He could have said, I disagree. I don't feel like he understands, and kind of left it at that. And everybody, you can have it up for open interpretation. And I get it. He was on his platform. It wasn't like he said this on ESPN or anything, but like, yeah, just something that didn't have to be brought up, especially over a take foul. Like, They didn't really get the fighting either. Like, it's not like, you know what I mean? It's a simple look. They whipped their ass in the game. Nobody talks about that part of the game. They only talk about the foul. What about the fact that they just got outplayed the entire game? Like, what about, man, the Fever sure do look good. Them adding what's her face, adding
Alyssa
those
Thomas?
two, yeah, adding Alyssa Thomas, adding fucking what's her face, the other girl, adding these
Oh,
two.
the CEO fucker.
Well, you know, she hadn't even played yet.
She's
Somebody
hot.
somebody on Twitter put up, because it said she was out maybe like ankle or something, but then they changed it to head. It was like, okay. Yeah, Sophie Cunningham hasn't played yet. But speaking of that, we might as well transition into that because we can kind of get that a little bit of time. What are your thoughts on that? Does it seem realistic? Well, of course it seems realistic, but this is another case of how the Joy Taylor thing went. How this is being brought into something that has nothing to do with what the lawsuit's actually about. It's just mentioned, similar to how Joy Taylor fucking Acho and fucking other guy, the network guy. But she gets kind of thrown into the crossfire, and she's supposed to be getting ready for basketball games.
I think I think it was unnecessary, but I think somebody's just trying to make a point. And I think it's improper for the CEO of the organization to have sex with a player.
Mm-hmm.
But
especially because technically he's cutting her checks, is what that is. So,
but I don't think his penis inside of her influenced enough to where we should give a fuck about it. And I don't think that it was I don't think that it was him misusing his power to have sex with her. I just think they had chemistry and they fucked. And
well,
he
he thought she was hot, and she probably likes money.
And like the WNBA can only give you so much money. And
right.
Like, I mean, like what she gets paid, because you got to understand the Mercury and the Suns one ownership group.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever money we put over here, we've set on fire. So it's not like he could get her like money in a contract that she doesn't deserve, because I don't think they really care about the WNBA payroll. They're writing it off anyways.
Well, exactly. And let's be honest, it's a write-off for Adam Silver more than anything. And he knows how to make his owners and CEOs happy.
Bingo. So he shouldn't have been fucking her because he's her boss. But hey, man, bosses fuck up sometimes.
Well, it's really more so because they don't want anyone else doing it, right? That's the real reality of it. I can't have other people fucking other people. But actually, you know what? But that's not true either. The Connecticut Suns, didn't they have two women? Weren't they on the same team?
Yeah.
They were fucking. I don't think that was appropriate either. I mean,
they're peers. Peers can have sex in the workplace. That's okay. But I'll tell you something. I've been a boss. And you know what? When you're the boss, you look better to them.
Sometimes they look better to you too.
And then sometimes shit happens.
Yeah. Yeah. I have never fucked any of my employees. For one, a majority are men, but then even the ones that were women, I was actually just never attracted to any of them. There was one that actually did look pretty good, but like I never went to that warehouse, so I don't, but
man, look, I had one way back in the day, right? I can tell the story now. We had the same birthday. And Shorty had the onion. You know, that shit was crazy. Dumb onion. And I ran into her at the club one night. So it wasn't even like on some work shit. We just happened to be in the same club. And I saw how she looked at me. I was like, stop looking at me like you want to fuck me. Fuck around and get fucked.
You said this.
Yeah.
You know, that reminds me of that meme of where the girl's playing basketball and the boy, he's like, quit getting up on my booty. He's like, I'm not getting up on it. It's like her like backing her ass up, like dribbling
Yeah.
the ball. That's what that sounds like to me. But go ahead.
I mean, shit. You were a part of me being a terrible boss.
Aha, San Diego. Is that what we're talking about here?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I blame you for that night.
Don't blame me. I didn't invite them. You did.
You should have taken a nap. Then I would have taken a nap, and
well,
the night would have gone differently.
I wasn't at home. I was out of town. I don't take naps out of town. I have to take advantage of my, in that case, probably 72 hours or something like that I had.
Fair enough, but do you care about Brock Purdy's contract? It's almost halftime.
I think that he was overpaid, like in terms of obviously what he is, but they didn't have a choice but to pay him. I mean, and for what it's worth, anyone that has his resume would get paid that. So I don't, do I think that he's worth it in terms of his skill set? No, but like in terms of his resume, yeah, they had to pay him. One Super Bowl appearance, 2 NFC championships. He's never had to truly carry. Last year was the first year in the role of potential, like kind of carry, and they were a mediocre team basically. But the defense was super injured too. The defense was super injured, and for what it's worth, regardless of how everyone wants to look at Christian McCaffrey, he was still before Saquon. Like he was the highest paid running back, so he was the best player at the position. Guy was down a good majority of the year. What can you do about it? Like,
but you know what? I think
that was his best player. And Debo was not good. Like Debo's not good, really, like that. So, and Ayuk got hurt in week 2. So he was early. I think considering you had what was supposed to be technically your best receiver go down early, certainly your best player went down early. Your defense was banged the fuck up the whole year too. They survived. Like they were not that bad. Every game they had a chance. It felt like maybe they had a chance to win. But,
I think he's worth that much to Kyle Shanahan though. Because Kyle Shanahan, the quarterback whisperer, specifically Kyle Shanahan, the quarterback whisperer in San Francisco, he's not. It's not guaranteed the quarterback is going to be good and win games because he's executing Shanahan's game plan. Like Shanahan gets a lot of credit because he's elevated quarterbacks, but I think Kyle Shanahan more so works with a particular skill set, personality type quarterback, and I think that's more of the overachiever, grinder, maybe not the most physically gifted quarterback. So that's a quarterback who's smart enough to know to play inside the system because they kind of have to. Like even Matt Ryan, right? MVP is MVP.
He didn't have the strongest arm.
Matt Ryan is like the elite game manager, right? Like no, but hold on, before you do all of that, right? I don't think game manager is a bad thing, right? I think like when a true game manager is a quarterback who runs the plays, knows the offense, and executes based on what the defense is giving and what the progressions are in the play, right? Yeah. That's who Matt Ryan is. Your Mahomes, your Lamars, your Michael Vicks, your Josh Allens, even like a Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray. These guys do things, Aaron Rodgers, outside of what is called. and what the progression says because they have natural abilities that elevate them above that. Like Peyton Manning and Tom Brady, game managers from my perspective, and not necessarily like playmakers. They make plays.
Yeah, they're not. Yes, they're not playmakers.
But like, game manager is not negative to me. And I honestly think that the best quarterbacks are primarily game managers. And for Peyton and Brady, they were elite game managers. Whereas Mahomes and Josh Allen, they are, well, Mahomes specifically, elite game manager, but also elite playmaker.
Yeah, because he can, anyone that can improv.
Well, I won't say Patrick Mahomes is an elite game manager. He is a very good game manager, but an elite playmaker.
And he's got maybe the most gifted arm.
And the best play caller / play designer. Like, so that's kind of how I look at that. But I mean, Brock deserves that money for the 49ers, but their cap is fucked and they're not going to be good. So,
and they just paid what's his face too the other day.
They paid Fred Warner and they paid George Kittle like 2 weeks ago. Like, they're paying positions that are typically cheap.
Right, middle linebacker and tight end.
Now they have elite guys at those positions, and shit, running back too. They have elite guys at these positions, but they're not traditionally the positions you want to that you have elite guys and pay top dollar for. And OG just blew a layup.
Maybe it's that Knicks crowd. What's the score?
48-45 Knicks.
Oh, Knicks are up. Okay.
But hey, let's close this shit out real quick with final time around the horn. Because around the horn, I think a very pivotal sports show in our lives.
For sure. Absolutely.
It introduced us to all of these different local big market writers who didn't strive to just go to ESPN every day, right? They still wanted to write. They still want to put out stories and cover their teams in their market. And besides Sports Center, I remember when like the show started with like Max Kellerman.
Some people don't realize that he was the first host.
Yeah, he was the first host.
Tony Reale did it for so long, and
23 years.
Switch over to PTI,
but Tony Reale was stat guy. Like,
yeah, he would catch all their errors. Like, no, this is what you said, but this is really what it was.
But like, he was the cute little intern in the back, the little nerd that's working with the old guys who's been there, you know?
Yeah.
But I just think it was a great sports show, and listening to Reale talk about it on Dan Patrick, man, it's kind of the last show of its kind. We don't have sports shows where sports reporters talk sports without athletes getting in the way. And I love athletes in media, and I love athlete-driven media, and I like the blend of the two. But I still also want to listen to people who cover the sport talk about the sport from their perspective without the athlete inserting themselves and then like almost shitting on what the analyst is saying because, well, I played. And then niggas tuck their tail because you don't have an argument for that. So, sorry, I've been long-winded today.
No, you're good. Yeah, definitely was a show that, they have that meme of Homer Simpson as a kid and then they show him as an adult. That's literally what Around the Horn was for myself, and I'm sure you too. And again, you brought up even good one that a lot of people don't remember, that Max Kellerman was the original host of that show because Tony Reale did it for so fucking long. You kind of forget that he was there. And then that was when Max Kellerman left ESPN at first because he was only the boxing guy. But like
Friday Night Fights.
Yeah, exactly. And so and then he was with HBO. But I guess he was back with ESPN still doing the HBO stuff too. But like either way, yeah, it was definitely one of those shows. Again, it introduced you to so many different personalities. I would never have known who Woody Page was. You know what I mean? Without that show, because I don't check in on Denver sports articles. And
he's great.
Yeah, he's really good. You know, obviously he's kind of the quirky grandfather because he's got the board and stuff. But you get introduced to that. I mean, to me,
J.A. Adande, Kevin Blackstone, Michael Holley.
Michael Smith.
Michael Smith, Jamel Hill, Pablo Torre, Israel
Gutierrez.
like,
Yeah.
like all of the top writers, sports writers, I built a relationship with them as a around the horn guy. Shit, Jackie Mack.
Yeah, Boston.
And you see them now, whether they're on TV or you may be listening to a radio show or a podcast and they're the guest, and you go, oh, you know this nigga. I remember this nigga from back in the day. Bo Jones, you know what I mean?
Take a look at this, by the way. Well,
IG or text?
IG.
Yeah, I got to straighten you out. Let me tell you what this
Think
is
about that.
Okay, you got to sell this. Those comments are
Denver
the Nets more than anybody else.
Yeah, but this is my point. So think about it.
On his shoulder for the next game. You don't think Jason Kidd's going to come out? These guys are going to be fired. He fired up the Nets more than anybody else.
But it goes deep. It just goes to show too how popular that show was, and it got so many people on. I mean, again, somebody like Jamel Hill and Michael Smith. I don't think I know a lot of people didn't like their take on Sports Center at 6, but they don't get that opportunity if the people aren't familiar with them because of that show. They don't get his and hers without it.
Hey, and shout out, and numbers never lie. But shout out to what they did with the 6 o'clock Sports Center. I personally did not like it because I don't go to Sports Center for that. But some niggas saying, hey, y'all gonna give us the flagship show of the network. We're gonna do this shit the way we want to do it. And we're not gonna code switch. Now it didn't work. But just the fact that they stood on being niggas. And they obviously, when you have that show, if you lose it, you still fall on your feet. So I don't know, but I think that's dope. And yeah, man, dang, I didn't realize how many personalities until we started talking it out that Around the Horn gave us light to. And now, bro, if J.A. Adande writes a Lakers book, I'm probably gonna get the audiobook and listen to it because I know how plugged in he is with LA, and I know, you know what, this is worth my time.
Yeah. During that dynasty, the Kobe Shaq. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but he's still in LA now writing, so like, or like a Bill Plaschke. But anyways, Parlay Pete.
Bill Plaschke.
The game's on. I know you want to get to it. Another great week. Tell Mr. Turner I say hello. Wish I would have known further in advance, and I was trying to make accommodations.
Totally understand it. I will send your regards. And yeah, another great show, man. Can't wait to get there next week.
All right, dog. I'll holler at you.
All right, brother. Salutations, good people.
Yep.